I've been waiting for this moment for a year since last year's NFC Championship game. So, Kevin, the Buccaneers beat the Eagles 32-9. The Eagles, they lost by 23 points, just like they did to the 49ers. And after they lost to the 49ers, they went, I think, 1-5 after that loss, 1-6 to end the season. So how do you feel about your Eagles being eliminated?
So I'll let Kaz get into the game. What I want to come on here is give thanks for all you audio only listeners. Remember, only listeners, you cannot see the jersey I'm wearing. I'm wearing the 2017 Super Bowl jersey. So I want to give shout outs to Lane Johnson, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, and Brandon Graham. I'm sorry this team let you down the last 7 weeks. Started off 10-1, finished off 1-6. Third team in NFL history to start off 10-1 and not reach 12 wins. Everyone's asking me how I'm feeling. For the past 7 weeks, I've seen my team not tackle. So to hear the announcer say that this is just a night of not tackling, this has been a season, 18 weeks full of just not tackling out there. We saw Jalen Hurts have one receiver to throw to. If it was Devontae Smith or nothing. And it got to the point where he would rather take a safety than throw it to somebody else. So everyone's asking me, where do the Eagles go from here? We have a lot of young guys. We have to rely on our young guys on defense, starting with Eli Ricks, Kelly Ringo, Nolan Smith, Sidney Brown, Reed Blankenship, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Milton Williams. We have to play those young guys just due to us not bringing a lot of guys back from last year. It was real controversy if we were going to bring guys back or not, and we decided to let them walk and, commit to the young guys. And the young guys had to get thrown into the fire a little early. Last season, we had a lot more veterans in our locker room. So this year, it's kind of getting ready for the next step. Like I mentioned, those guys that I mentioned in the beginning of my monologue are probably going to retire. We saw Jason Kelsey crying and Fletcher Cox as well, walking off the stadium. It is what it is. But before I pass it to Cass, I just want to let all the Eagles fans know we are going to be okay. It's rough right now. You got to take the jokes. You got to take it all. But at the end of the day, A.J. Brown wasn't out there. So I doubt we see another Bradbury game in Midnight Green. Darius Slay got hurt. So I wish this could have been TikTok clip, but now I can't. You can't see my face.
This guy didn't even show up today.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. We'll get the jokes out now. But at the end of the day, the guy clicking his eyeball and the guy smirking have never seen their team win a Super Bowl. So that's another reason I wanted to wear this because it's nice,
one more month.
It's fun to sit back in the sideline and say, "Kevin, you guys didn't do this. Kevin, you guys didn't do that." And yeah, we did it. It is what it is. I've seen this for the past 7 weeks. The last 5 weeks of the season, I kept posting the same clip over and over and over, saying, "Oh, I'm not confident in A, B, C, D, or E, F when we play." And this game, I came on here and said we were the scariest team in the NFC. Was it a little bit of, home court bias? Of course it was. I'm going to believe until, on the last whistle.
Politics.
I waited all the way to the end of the game. We always bring up the group chat. I said, that's all, folks. Because I believe to the very end that, we can figure it out. And our defense came to play, and besides the missed tackles, we take the missed tackles out of it. We got to the quarterback. We were deflecting passes, doing what we should have been doing. But for the past 7 weeks, I've seen a defensive coordinator come into the game and say, we got 4 guys on man, and everyone else is going to get Jalen. We talked about this offensive line being one of the greatest offensive units in the league, and the past 7 weeks just haven't showed. And Toddy asked me earlier this week, when did the downfall start? And I would say after the Cowboys game, the second Cowboys game, when we lost that game, it kind of just killed our confidence. We weren't able to bounce back from that game, and, it just started to spiral. So it is what it is, but we will be okay. At the end of the day, I feel very confident. We have a young quarterback, so we're going to be back. It's not like we're at the end of the road. So we'll be back, and, I'll have, like Shaun mentioned, 11 months. So I have on my calendar for the next 11 months, I'm going to have to hear this. Not even if the Niners win a Super Bowl or not, but the fact that we lost to Baker Mayfield in the first round, it is what it is. But like I said, we will be back, Eagles Nation. Let's take them to the chin, because when we won last year, we were stepping on everybody's throat. So you know what? It is what it is. But I'm just happy, everyone posted, we were going to fall off A, B, C, and D. Even with the season we had, there's a lot of people watching this stream that wish their team had a season like ours. So it is what it is,
this
man.
year?
So,
what is Bond doing over with the coin?
I can give you plenty of teams. The Giants, the Commanders, the Vikings. Plenty of teams wish they had the schedule the season we had, even though we dropped the games that we did. There's a lot of teams sitting at home saying, I wish we had a chance. Like Garry said, they just wanted a chance at the bowl. They wanted a chance at the dance. And there's a lot of teams sitting at home saying, at least the Eagles made it. We could have fallen all the way out of the playoffs, but we didn't. So hats off to everybody else. And if anyone's asking who I'm rooting for to go on the rest of the way, I don't give a damn who wins. The only person I don't care to win are these guys' favorite team. So the Packers can go win it all for me, and I'll be cool. So, but before I move on, we got Khalil in the comments talking about Super Bowl hangover. Khalil, 7 days from now, I want you to come on the pod because you're going to be right where I'm at.
No, he's already
been invited. He has already accepted.
Already confirmed.
So it's all good, man. Super Bowl hangover. Khalil is a guy, for example, who wish he could have had the season we had. So,
does he? I mean, he's still in the playoffs.
1,000%.
I don't know. Why would he wish that?
Because think about it. No one thought the Packers were going to win. Even the last 7 games that we put on film, people still said the Eagles can win. No one.
Oh, clearly I did.
Thought the Packers had a chance. No one in hell. So I'd rather be the team that people believe in than the team that when they win, it's like, damn, whoever had that ticket, like Toddy said, show me the ticket with the Aaron Jones 3 touchdowns because you're a millionaire. People were betting on betting. So, but like I said, I take my L's the same way I take my W's. It's been a long season for Eagles fans, so now I get to finally relax on Sundays and not have to mute the group chats and mute everybody and not have to ignore all social media. So the next couple of weeks will be fine, but like I said, a lot of change will be coming, and I'm here for it. And like I said, we will be back. So
Kev said we're shifting to the Kings, baby.
Oh, it's been King season for a while. I told Toddy I was looking at mock drafts 5 weeks ago.
Well, real quickly, Jaevon, I do want to pass it to Kaz next, but could you tell our audio-only listeners what you were doing as Kevin was speaking there and show everyone off?
Friend of the show, our boy, Mr. Kaz Johnson, frequently goes on TikTok. And
legendary TikTok.
This is a legendary TikTok. Very legendary. This was a couple of weeks ago. I don't even know if it was last week. He was like,
the Giants game.
It was the Giants game, week 18. It was like, all right, guys, heads, Eagles win, tails, we lose. Flips the coin. He flips the coin and goes, well, guys, looks like we're gonna win this week.
Well, Kaz,
you can't be biased and let the coin decide. I get it, Kaz.
Actually, you gotta ask the man himself because we got him here in person on the show. Can you give us a little bit more? Did you flip a coin this week at all? I don't know if that was even part of the plan.
What was a coin?
No, I didn't.
Because you only flip it. You only flip it with the Eagles, Kaz, or you only flip it with every team?
No, man. So I just started it. I think I did the first one. Oh God, maybe after who did we play for Seattle? Arizona, either Seattle or Arizona. One of those two teams. No, it might have even been the first time because the Giants and Arizona and Giants again. I think I did it for the Giants and then Arizona and then the Giants again. But regardless, the last 3 weeks I did for sure flip a coin. And the reason for that was because my Eagles, unfortunately, have been playing a type of football that even as a fan who tries to be unbiased as possible, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I mean, like, I have no clue what's going on. Like, I can't be mad. I can't argue shit. It's everything. It's the coaches. It's the players. It's the attitude. I'm like, it's just it's almost like something happened. Okay, here you go. I'll tell you what happened for this week, that this guy was MIA. This guy who we kept seeing 10 out of 11 weeks to begin this season.
Wasn't he somewhere else Saturday night too? Like a fight or some shit?
He was in Atlantic City. And so that's what happened, in my opinion, this game. Like, the Eagles would have won if they had that guy, but he wasn't there.
Don't go on camera saying that, Shaun.
Yeah, listen.
Don't go on camera saying that.
What I'm going to say is this.
We would have lost with him.
If I had to guess, all right, we've probably all, been in love before. Maybe there's some girl we had a crush on. If you haven't, I don't know. But here's what it seemed like. Okay, this is the only thing I can come up with. It seemed like right before we played the 49ers, every last person in that fucking locker room either got cheated on or, somebody died in their family. Something happened. I can't explain it. I'm talking from the coaching staff down to the players. It seemed like they just were not there. Like, it was like some life shit going on. Nothing to do with football. They weren't there.
And it didn't make any sense. I couldn't even come up with like a logical reason as to why we're losing games. It wasn't like the talent wasn't there. We have all-star talent on both sides of the field. It wasn't like the coaching wasn't there. Yeah, Brian Johnson and fucking Shaun Desai before he got benched, or what you want to call it. We were 10-1. There were sparks of good defense. There were sparks of good offense. You know what I'm saying? Not consistent, but
you were
waiting
for the whole game. Remember, you kept saying that, Cat? You were waiting for a whole game to come together. They never came.
Yeah, and it's just like I said it. So for those of you who are listening and don't know me, I do weekly predictions every year from week 1 all the way through the playoffs. And I said by week 4 or 5, I'm like, the Eagles, I'm not really sure what our identity is. I'll give it to week 6. And that turned into week 8. Then in week 10, I'm like, our identity is we're just going to play every team down to the wire. We're going to play down to the level of our opponents. And that slowly but surely turned into us being on the latter end. And now we're trying to play up to their level. I don't really know. I can't explain it. It doesn't make any sense. I know it's the coaches, but at the same time, there's been times where we've seen the defense miss tackles. It's like, coaches can only do so much. They ain't suited up out there. Y'all out here missing tackles like crazy. I'm talking to the point to where I'm like, damn, if y'all don't want to tackle, I'll go out there and put my butt in line. I'm going to get hurt after 2-3 tackles, but I'm going to give you 2-3 tackles. It got to that point. I was being dead serious. So not to get too far off topic, but what I'll say is this, man. We lost to the Bucs tonight, and we lost in a fashion that was unfortunately expected. Why would we think anything else would happen? We're on the road. We've dropped the last 6 out of or was it 5 out of 6 games. Our players are showing no signs of emotion at all besides defeat. We clinched a playoff berth like 5 weeks ago. Okay, we made the playoffs. Even after losing to you guys in Dallas, we made the playoffs. And then we go in and this happens. I don't care if AJ Brown's not there. Okay, I don't care if there's some sort of a locker room cancer or if Sirianni's gonna get fired. He's trash, or our coordinators are trash. The entire team looked like shit tonight. And this is stats over politics. So I'm gonna abide by your guys' whole show, right? Statistically, we were bested in every category except for Devonta Smith receiving yards. I'll say it again. Statistically, there's every category we were bested. It is right in front of me. I'm not going to go through everything, but I'm talking total yards, receiving yards, rushing yards, turnovers, punting yards. We can keep going. Bested. Absolute got our ass whooped. Hands down. The game, I tweeted earlier today. I said, this game could easily be if they didn't. And on top of that, they dropped like 6 or 7 passes. This game could have easily been 27-6 at one point, like at halftime. We lucked out. We're lucky it was 9-32. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I can't explain it. I'm not a sore loser. I also tweeted that it feels like a sigh of relief, like a weight's been lifted off our shoulders. Like, damn, like I'm not even mad about losing. Like, I'd much rather have this happen and have this shit ass season be over with than to be like how the Cowboys are right now. If we were the Cowboys right now, not to bring that back up, I'd be pissed. I'm not even mad. And I see it says here, Khalil says Super Bowl hangover. I mean, you can call it that, but we start off 10-1. I mean, the Super Bowl hangover is usually a lot worse than that. So we start off 10-1. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a hangover, but something happened that has to do with the player's life that affect this team. This isn't the team. I don't know what it is. I don't have the answer for it. I'm not making any excuses, but I didn't foresee us getting past the divisional. I thought we could have possibly beat the Bucs. I said in my my weekly predictions, I said, I think that the Bucs outside of the Steelers, sorry, Gary, are probably the worst team in the playoffs right now. And that's because you guys don't have a quarterback and TJ Watt out. But I'm like, the Bucs, that's probably the easiest path. It was laid out in stone for us, okay? And we fucking jagged across the board. I don't have anything to say about this game. What do you want me to say statistically? What could we have done? Jalen Hurts is playing with 9 fingers and we run the ball fucking 10 times with one of the most talented running backs in the fucking world. I have nothing. There's nothing to say. The Philadelphia Eagles, as an organization, choked this season. It wasn't one guy. It wasn't one side of the ball. It was the entirety of the team. It starts with the coaching staff. It's that simple. The players, you get an alibi. You really do. Even the guys who jagged. I'm sorry, Kev. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. The OC, the DC, okay, Sirianni, he lost the locker room clear as day. These guys have shown time and time again they don't want to play for this guy. They don't want to play for any of these guys. What do you want to do? Get rid of Hurts, get rid of AJ, get rid of Smitty, get rid of that offensive line, get rid of, Slay, obviously Bradbury, that's the obvious one. Get rid of the defensive line, all those Georgia Bulldogs. Is that what we do because the players suck? We're getting blown out and we're getting out coached every week. I have nothing.
That's the
I
move.
got nothing.
Yes,
That's where I agree with you.
the
That's
move.
where I disagree with you, Kaz. You can't sit here and blame the coordinators. The defense went out there and did their thing. Besides us missing 25 tackles in one game, that's a different ball game. We missed those 2 tackles. Those are touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? They're not out there making tackles. They're not out there making catches or not blocking A, B, C, and D. So I'm really big on the A.J. Brown trade or him coming in and just saying, you got to blame the players. The coaches can only call so many plays. Yeah, the plays might suck, but if we're not executing, if we're not doing A, B, C, and D. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everyone needs to return, but the excuse needs to be the players just didn't come to play this year. The coaches can't tackle.
I could agree with you to an extent. I will say the players definitely didn't come to play this year. I'm not sure what it was. Like I said, it's just such a weird. I've never seen it before in my life. 20 plus years of being an Eagles fan, I've never seen this kind of implosion where I'm like, what? I don't have an answer. It's not. I can't blame injuries. I can't blame anything. Now, I will say this, and I should have said this to start off real quick. The missed tackles that is 100% the players. I'm not gonna say that's the coordinator for sure, but when it comes to the offense, it's like. Even tonight, Jalen Hurts, for the first time in his career, had the least amount of time to throw the ball. How does our fucking Hall of Fame awesome offensive line not have any get back? I don't care if the play calling is bad at all. So, yes, this game specifically, across the board, the players are trash. The offense was trash. The defense did show up, but the offense didn't do much. I'm still at the end of the day when it comes to the season, I'm going to go with the coaching. That's just where I'm at. We can agree to disagree on that. But the coaching, these players, you can't run I'm sorry, and it starts with Swift. You cannot run the ball almost less. I think right now his average is probably even less because he had 10 tonight. 13 carries a game for DeAndre Swift, man. I make it make sense. He's a top 5 rusher in the fucking world, and he gets less carries than the top 10 running backs in the NFL. Make that make sense. Again, look at the stats. Look at the top 10 running backs, how many carries they get a game, and he's top 5. The talent's there. We have Kenneth Gainwell splitting carries with them. Why? Is that DeAndre Swift's fault? Is that Hurts' fault? That's play calling all day, and that's been all season, but for sure the last 10 weeks, I'll say at least. So not to take too much time on this take, because I am talking quite a bit. Sorry about that. But what I'll say is this.
Hey, it's your squad.
It's just one of those situations, man, where, like I said, as a 20-plus year fan, I don't have an answer. I don't. I really don't. I've seen some bad Eagles football over my fandom. I've seen some great Eagles football. This one, I don't know what happened. I don't know. The players don't seem like they wanted to be there. The coaching staff and the play calling has been questionable all season long. And we failed. We failed. Got our ass kicked by teams that we shouldn't have got our ass kicked by. And I'm not talking about you guys or the Cowboys. I'm talking just in general, like losing to like New York at the very end, losing to Arizona, losing to New York, who the Jets. It just doesn't make any sense. Even talent-wise, our roster is better. And at some point, talent does give you a major advantage, which is why you draft, which is why you trade who you trade for. And we sat there and we went 10-1, and we squeaked by and got to 10-1, and then dropped to 11-6 on the season, and then got rolled again by a team that was probably the second worst team in the playoffs right now. The Bucs aren't going to go anywhere, and it's going to be embarrassing after they lose next week. That's all I got to say.
Well, Jaevon and Garry are waiting very patiently here, but I got to just get this question answered by the both of you, because Kaz, you mentioned it there. You guys started the season 10-1, and I'll even put the little banner back up there. Eagles started the season 10-1, then they finished 1-6 over their last 7 games. But the question that I had is, early in the season, I was saying that I would be a little scared by that 10-1 record, just because, as you said, they were squeaking by. Like when the 49ers and Eagles were both 4-0, I was proud of the like all bias aside, truly, you can believe me if you want to.
No, you said that,
I truly was proud of, I was proud of the 49ers being 4-0 because they dominated in all 4 games. The Eagles, not so much when they got to 4-0 and eventually 10-1. And so, Kaz, I'm going to toss this back to you, and then we'll get Kevin's thoughts. Do you think that the Eagles just got exposed later in the season? Because as you said yourself, they squeaked by to get to that 10-1 record. And then when the games got closer, they didn't go their way. So what were your thoughts on the down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be brief with it, man. I wouldn't necessarily say they got exposed. I think what happened was we failed to make adjustments. The last, I want to say 4 or 5 weeks, teams were blitzing more than ever, and we made 0 adjustments. What can the players do? Does Jalen Hurts just audible every play and just, no, we're going to change the entire play, and our offense isn't scoring points. I mean, it's just that simple. Our offense is not putting up with these guys on this offense. How? What can you do? It's not like Jalen Hurts is just some scrub. He may not be playing at elite level right now, but he's not playing like he's a terrible quarterback. He had over 4,000 yards this season. How many quarterbacks? I see Toddy right now. I'll open the camera. How many quarterbacks, honestly, like, this season has finished better than Jalen Hurts? Would you say Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback right now? Okay. Would you say he's not a top 10?
I'm
I'm
going to go over the list later. Top 10 might be hard now after this season.
Yeah, no, that's true. But would you say at the end of the conclusion of the regular season that Jalen Hurts is not a top 10 quarterback? I mean, the fact that you have to debate that's still saying he's better than what?
Yeah.
Over half the league. So it's not,
For sure.
you don't have to